It works.
It does.
And yeah, so I was just like, X on everybody. And then she came about and I was like, damn. So I just put a like. And then, how did I go from there?
I was on Hinge, because my friends were just like, get on it, try it out. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I was kind of over Hinge, so I was clearing out my likes or whatever. And so I was swiping, and then I saw his beautiful face, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's so beautiful. Like, I literally screenshotted your profile.
Did you?
And I told Sophia, he's so cute. I sent a message because you had a video of you and your snake, and I was like, oh my gosh, so cute. So I said, instead of just saying hey or liking him back, I'll compliment his snake. So I was like, nice snake. And then he messaged me back and he said, oh, we should go to a coffee shop. Well, actually, you complimented a picture of me and my friend's cat.
Yeah, because you complimented my snake, so I was like, oh, well, I like your cat.
Yeah, but it wasn't my cat. I'm allergic. I was like, I'm allergic to cats. But we just went on from there.
We went to a date, and I remember it being kind of rainy. So I walked there, I got inside. Maybe there was a couple other people. It's honestly a really small coffee shop. Like, if you're having a conversation, everybody else can hear you. That's just the vibe. And it's super cozy, and I really like it. It's a nice shop. So I got in there, and I said, oh, well, I'm waiting for a friend. And then the girl at the counter was like, is she a girl? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, she's in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just stood there waiting. And then you came out. And then I remember my first impression of you was like a little like shy and frazzled. Like, oh, hey.
I got there, and you were just a couple minutes away, and they just opened
And I'm like, what about you? And you're like, oh, well, actually, you're just super, super cute. Yeah, and I just loved your vibe, honestly.
And I also just thought, like, you're obviously very beautiful. So in the moment, I mean, you're beautiful in here too, but at the moment I was just like, oh my god, I can't even stare at him. I was like, yeah, what about you? I remember just having a really good time. And I was like, I hope he likes me because I really like him. Yeah.
I really liked you. And honestly, right after the first date, I'm like, okay, we'll definitely be seeing each other again. It wasn't like, oh, like, I wonder if this went well. It's just like, this went well.
It went so good.
Yeah.
And then I think you sent me a song, and then we planned our next hangout, which was near my house at nighttime.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I know, yeah. We were like by the river. There's like a big market by the river in a city. And so we went there, we got ice cream, walked by the river, and just talked again for hours.
I dropped my ice cream, remember?
In your hand, right?
He got me ice cream. I dropped it. No, on the floor. That was a different time. And you were so sweet. You're like, you can have my ice cream. I can get you another one. But I was like still shy. So I was like, no, I'm okay. I don't even want it. But you shared your ice cream with me.
Yeah, I remember just like walking down by the river. We found a spot. Then we just talked forever. And we're having like, yeah, and we're having deeper conversations. Last time it was more like get to know me and still great conversations. But this time it was more about, religion, larger topics like the universe and how we feel about things in a deeper sense. And those were also like, we really felt compatible in that way too. We're both not like trying to impose each other's opinions onto each other, but it was very curious and interesting to me, and you were also very interested in what I had to say, listening, hearing out my perspectives, and I like that a lot from you right away, because it's like, okay, she has an open mind, and we can have conversations like this, even if we're not necessarily on the same page. So that was really good.
I totally agree, baby. That's really sweet. I also felt that way too. I felt so comfortable being with you. I felt like I knew you for so long, even though it was our second time hanging out. And I felt like I could really just like talk, and I was opening up more. And you had so many. I felt the same way. Like everything you said, you were so open-minded, and I could tell that you really thought about things on the same level that I did. And that's why I feel like our conversation felt like endless. Like we had to cut ourselves off because we were there for so long, but we could have talked all night. Yeah, and it felt really romantic and sweet.
It really did.
Yeah.
I remember at one point we left the river, went closer to the market, and you were telling me a story, and we're sitting on this bench, and we got comfortable to a point where we could just both talk for a very long time, each to each other. And I remember you started to talk about a story, and I just remember just like laying down on the bench and looking up, and you were sitting beside me, and I'm like, do you mind if I just lay down while I listen to you? And you're like, yeah, of course. So I lay down and I was listening to you, and you were talking, and I was like, man, this is really nice. Like, I love this, yeah. And you're super interesting, and your thoughts were like, I just like the way you talked about things. Like, I think you like going on different kind of tangents and stuff, and grabbing information from here and there and bringing it back. Did it hit the phone?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I just like the way you talked and how broad you could stretch out in a certain subject, all to bring it back to the same point. It was really interesting and beautiful.
That's actually a really nice compliment.
You still do obviously talk like that, but I think it might have been like the first time I got to experience that in somebody, and I thought it was really, really cool. Yeah. And I felt safe to just like listen and lay down. Yeah. Which is not usual. Like that was the second date, and I was just like on the ground.
You were on the bench.
Yeah, it's
and I was like, perfect. I love talking, so I'm just kidding. I felt like I wasn't just talking to nothing. I felt like you were really listening. He's such a good listener. You're literally like #1 listener. Like, not only do you take it in, but you receive it back. And because I know I tend to talk a lot more than the usual person, so people do tune out, but you just always listen to me. And nothing against the people that tune out, I understand, but I always feel heard when I talk to you. And yeah, in that moment, I didn't feel like I was just talking to talk. It was like you're listening to everything and you valued everything I said, and I was like, wow, this feels good for me too. Felt like validating for myself too.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you can't feel that way, because you're never not talking about anything important. Like whatever you're talking about stuff, it's always interesting. And if people just like zone out, that's on like their own attention span, not because of like what you're
actually remember, can I say the name story? The name where I didn't know how to pronounce your name. Well, I did, but I didn't want to say it wrong.
She just recently told me this story.
Basically, I knew his name was Sasha, but like we never like when we met, you were never like I'm Sasha because I saw your name online. So I even googled how to say your name. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Sasha, but I don't want to say it wrong. I didn't want to say Saka because like it's spelled Caha. So it looks like Sasha, but anyways, so I never really like formally said your name to you or whatever. And I was at my friend's Airbnb and I was like, she's like, yeah, like, so how do you say his name? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Sasha, but I really don't want to say it wrong because we've talked and we met, like, I feel like I know him, so it's kind of messed up that I don't know how to say your name. So she was like, oh, I'm like, okay, so when he comes, before I say anything, just say, hi, I'm Noah, what's your name? So that I could get your name. And anyway, she did that and I was like, yes, I was like, I was right.
I honestly, before I met you in person, I remember I thought your name was Beatty.
Yeah, it is actually.
And your name is Beatty,
Yeah.
but you go by Betty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also thought it was a bit different than what the spelling was.
You actually said it perfect. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I remember you came over and you just blended in with like everyone so well. Like you just get along with everyone so well. You just, even though it was my third time meeting you, I knew you would just get along with everyone because you're just like that kind of guy. Like you're just a people person. And we played games all night. Do you remember? It was so funny.
It was so funny.
Then we ended up leaving and had our first kiss.
That's right. I remember driving Betty home. I was like, probably like 4 a.m. at this point. And so I'm driving home. We get to the house, we talk or whatever. And then I'm like, let me just walk you to the door. And you're like, oh no, it's okay. Like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, like, let me walk you to the door. And then you're like, oh, okay. Like, I think we both knew. But I think you were a bit shy.
Yeah, I was. I like, let me walk you to the door. In the beginning, I didn't like catch on. I was like, why? Because I live in an apartment building. So I'm like, you don't have to walk. It's right there, you know? And you were like, no, let me walk you. And I was like, huh? Is he gonna kiss me? I was like, okay. Yeah, when you said you'd walk me to the door, I was so nervous, but I was like, I want to kiss you, so I feel ready, you know? And yeah, he walked me up the steps. Do you remember that? And you first gave me, he gave me a really deep hug. Honestly, I don't know if it was intentional, but it felt like you were trying to like feel my heart. My heart was racing, and when you hugged me, it actually like calmed down my heart. I remember that hug so well. I was just like, wow, like I feel really good, like, you know. And so you hugged me really deeply, and the wind was rustling and bustling.
I asked you. Yeah, I was like, should we kiss? We're like, can I kiss you? And then, honestly, I don't remember exactly how it went, but I remember you. Remember the way it was kissing you, like it wasn't like, I could tell it was one of the first times you like gave somebody a kiss.
Kiss.
It was very innocent, and it was very cute, honestly. It was just like a little like...
And when you were kissing me, I was like, we would stop, and I'd be like, okay, go. And you're like, do you want to keep kissing? I was like, yeah, come on. All I remember was the kiss was really beautiful.
It was a really good kiss. Yeah, it was really good kiss.
I was a pro, like, I was using my tongue and my fingers. It was really magical. And actually, it's somewhere in my iCloud notes. I wrote a journal entry about it.
Really?
Because I wanted to remember it, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Like every moment, like everything we said back and forth.
You wrote it down?
Yeah.
Whoa, I would love to see that.
Because I knew that I would fall in love with you and I wanted to have it forever. Yeah.
Whoa, let's see it.
No.
Like maybe not here, but like...
Because in that moment, I knew that you would be mine and that we would have something to look back on, like one of our first kiss and all that. When we get married, I'll read it to you.
No, stop. Really?
Yeah.
You want to wait until then? Okay, I'm down for that. That's kind of cool that you have that. So.
Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of us and how we first met and our first kiss.
Thanks for coming back and tuning in. We have a lot more stuff for all of you.
so much, and we cannot wait to have more videos out soon. We have some